All right, so before we continue reading in chapter 7, remember Maya and Jerry have observed Luke in his office, and he went out for a jog because remember he likes to be active and he always eats an apple every day. And so Maya looked around his office for the apple, but she can't find it, and she can't even find a core in his trash can. So we don't know what has happened to his apple that he has every day. All right, and that's kind of where we left off in chapter 8. So here we go for in chapter 6. Here we go, chapter 7 and chapter 8, and we're going to finish it today. All right, a snack and a solution. On the way down from Luke Smith's room, Maya bumped into Danny Braveheart, and he dropped what he was carrying. Betting slips and gambling tickets fell like confetti and scattered down the stairs. Danny hastily gathered all of the fallen paperwork and cast a worried look down on the stairs. Aha, thought Maya. That's what he was doing when I interrupted him earlier. He was sitting at his desk gambling instead of polishing the jewelry like he's supposed to. And now he's afraid that Mohammed Carrot will catch him. Look where you're going, you clumsy fool, barked Danny Braveheart before disappearing into his room. Maya quickly excused herself and continued down the stairs. Jerry came down from the church tower. In the church, he ran into Roland Sussman, the man with 3 S's. Did you spot any birds? He asked the caretaker. No luck today, replied Jerry, shaking his head. He said goodbye and walked across the street. Jerry and Maya had arranged to meet at the cafe next to the jeweler's. There, they each ordered apple juice and a granola bar. They took a seat in the corner of the cafe where they could talk without being overheard. It had been a long, difficult day, and it wasn't over yet. It was time for the 2 detectives to discuss what they had each seen and heard that day. They sat in the cafe for an hour talking and comparing notes. Jerry saw a lot that Maya couldn't have, and Maya filled him in on what she heard while she was working in the store. The 2 of them put together what they knew, and the clues fit together like pieces of a puzzle. The waitress was surprised when she checked on the 2 children. They had barely touched their food. After a while, Jerry and Maya nodded at each other with satisfaction and got up from the table. All of the pieces were in place, and they knew who the thief was. Jerry and Maya entered the jewelry store and walked toward Mohammed Carrot's office. They knocked, but nobody answered. Strange. Where could he be? Carefully, Maya nudged the door. It wasn't locked, so Maya gently pushed it open. Inside, they found Mohammed Carrot laying on his back on the brown sofa. He wasn't moving. Was he dead? Jerry and Maya rushed over. Thankfully, he wasn't dead. He was breathing, but he was lying completely still, staring blankly ahead. He must be in shock, thought Jerry. The 2 detectives saw tears running down Mr. Carrot's cheeks. They dripped to the floor where his earlier tears had already begun to form a little puddle. Today, a 7th diamond was stolen. He sniffled. It's over. I will have to sell my beloved store. Not so fast, Mr. Carrot, said Maya. We think we know who has stolen your diamonds. In a flash, Mohammed Carrot sat up on the sofa, his eyes wide. All right, the final chapter, chapter 8. Who, why, and how. So let's see if your guys' predictions are correct. Let me guess, said Mohammed Carrot, eagerly wiping tears from his mustache. It must be Vivian. She's disappointed because she's not getting a raise. She stole my diamonds, so she could build a new house. And then she buys expensive necklaces and clothes with the money instead. Oh, how could she? groaned Mohammed Carrot. Vivian is innocent, said Maya. But she has a fiancé, a rich man who showers her with presents. Vivian didn't steal your diamonds. The only thing she's guilty of is kissing customers at work. I know who it is, cried Muhammad Carrot, jumping up. It's Danny Braveheart, that crafty old fox. He's cheated me. Muhammad Carrot shook his clenched fist toward the floor above where Danny Braveheart worked. He stole my diamonds to ruin me, roared Muhammad Carrot. Once he has enough money, he'll buy back the store his father once owned. Of course, Danny Braveheart wants to get rich, agreed Jerry, but not by stealing your diamonds. He gambles on horse races. Danny Braveheart isn't a particularly friendly or dedicated employee, but he isn't a diamond thief. Muhammad Carrot sank to his knees. Weeping with rage, he banged his fist on the floor. Luke Smith, he hollered. You bragging sports car driving villain, how could you? Muhammad Carrot fell silent. A wrinkle appeared on his sweaty forehead. Yes, how could he asked, and looked at Jerry and Maya. How on earth did he get the diamonds out of the store? And where is he hiding them? The main character in the story is actually an apple, said Maya. An apple that isn't there. Muhammad Carrot scratched his head. Jerry scratched his nose. Mr. Carrot clearly didn't understand, so Maya continued. Every morning, Luke Smith brings an apple to the office, but he doesn't eat it, and he doesn't take it home. So the question is, where does the apple go? Yes, Jerry added. In the morning, Luke works alone in his room, and that's when he takes the opportunity to press one of your diamonds into his green apple. Then he opens the window and tosses the apple onto the roof. The apple rolls across the roof and into the gutter, where it then falls down the drain pipe and onto the sidewalk below. As soon as that's taken care of, Luke puts on his tracksuit and goes for his daily jog. Muhammad Carrot looked at the two sleuths with his mouth wide open. Maya said, just in front of the drain pipe, Luke, your healthy apple-eating jogger, stops and pretends to tie his shoelaces. That's when he picks up the diamond-stuffed apple and runs to the post office to lock it in a safe deposit box. All right, let's read our steps of how Luke gets the diamonds out of the store. So 1, Luke throws the apple out the window. 2, the apple rolls into the gutter. 3, the apple falls into the drain pipe. 4, the apple rolls onto the sidewalk. 5, Luke picks up the apple. And 6, Luke jogs to the post office. We think there will be 7 green or not so green apples in the safe deposit box, and you'll find the key in Luke Smith's tracksuit, concluded Maya. By golly, you've solved the case, cheered Muhammad Carrot as he jumped up in the air with joy. After he calmed down, he went to his safe and took out a thick stack of dollar bills. All right, I'll let you look at the picture for a little bit longer. All right. Here you are, he said happily. I am very pleased with the whodunit detective agency. But now, you must excuse me. Luke Smith and I are going to take a little walk to the post office together. Jerry and Maya walked out of the office. Vivian Leander was standing outside. She had been listening at the door, as usual. Oh, I was just, she said, blushing. Jerry and Maya looked at each other and tried to hide their smiles. On the bus ride home, Maya suggested they buy a computer with the money they had just earned from Muhammad Carrot. But Jerry wasn't listening. He was looking out the window and scratching his nose. Now I understand, he said finally, and laughed. Danny Braveheart was talking about gambling on horses when he said, you only need 1 horsepower if you choose the right one. Exactly, exclaimed Maya. He was thinking about winning a racehorse, as usual. A good detective leaves no questions unanswered, she said, and smiled admiringly. Let me try it one more time. Admiringly, there we go, at Jerry. The next day, the church caretaker, Roland Sussman, and everyone else in the little town read something very exciting in the newspaper. And we'll go ahead and read the newspaper. The Whodunit agency solves yet another case. The young detectives of the Whodunit Detective Agency, Maya and Jerry, have successfully solved a difficult case. Through clever investigative work, they have linked one of Mohammed Carrot's jewelry store employees to a crime. 29-year-old Luke Smith has confessed to police that he had stolen 7 diamonds, each worth thousands of dollars. Mysteriously, Jerry has told the paper that he and Maya have 3 S's to thank for helping them solve the case. Now, a long prison sentence awaits Luke Smith, and there will certainly be many more assignments to come for Jerry and Maya's newly opened but already successful detective agency. And I'll go ahead and let you look at this picture.